I thank the gentleman. Chair now recognizes Dr. Schrier for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to our witnesses. This extreme Dobbs decision overturning Roe has taken our country backwards. Overnight, women in many states lost their freedom to decide whether to carry a pregnancy to term and lost the power to control their own destinies, and my constituents are outraged. I'm the only pro-choice woman doctor in all of Congress, and I'm a pediatrician, and so I've been in the room with a teenager facing an unexpected, unplanned pregnancy, with a mom of a toddler excited about a pregnancy who finds out it is not viable and has to make an important personal medical decision about whether to carry that pregnancy. A pregnant woman who saw the dentist, was diagnosed with oral cancer and had to decide whether to treat herself, have an abortion and treat herself, or whether to delay that care and put her life at risk. And you know, all of these women had a choice, but women in 16 states right now do not have that choice, and it's horrifying to me to hear about politicians or Supreme Court taking that choice away. Doctors take an oath to do no harm, and banning abortion puts doctors in this untenable position. Now, we're already seeing examples from states where doctors are needed to consult lawyers on whether a patient is sick enough to have an abortion, who draws that line, kidney failure, heart failure, who draws that line? And this puts doctors in a tough position. I appreciate Dr. Ruiz's question. Dr. Verma, I have 3 questions for you so you can allocate time. We've now had a month of seeing what happens when abortion is banned and when doctors are afraid of being criminalized. Sometimes this has led to delayed care. Can you just comment on the outcomes for women in those states?
Thank you for that question. So as doctors, we know how to look at the patient in front of us and make the best medical decision. That's what we train for years and years to do, as you know. These laws are causing us to have to pause, to think about calling a lawyer, calling a hospital administrator, because we've seen that states are coming after doctors. We've seen that states are threatening doctors' licenses, threatening criminal prosecution for doctors that are simply doing what's best for their patients and providing life-saving, compassionate care. And so these laws are absolutely affecting care, are delaying care, are giving doctors that pause where they can't just do what they know is medically right for a patient.
And has that compromised the health of any women?
Absolutely.
I have another question for you because we've heard comments about violence against pregnancy crisis centers, and I was just wondering if you'd like to speak for a moment about the history of harassment and violence toward abortion providers that happens regularly across this country.
Thank you for that question. I want to start by saying that I condemn all acts of violence, but I do think it's important to note that my colleagues and I, as doctors who provide reproductive health care, who provide abortion care, also face serious threats of harassment and violence just for caring for our communities. I have absolutely faced threats. Many of my colleagues have faced threats, have been stalked, and abortion care providers have even been murdered for doing their jobs. Our health centers have regularly been vandalized and targeted by arsonists. And so I'd hope that all of you would condemn the violence that has long been occurring against doctors who are providing this compassionate, evidence-based care to our communities.
Thank you for that answer. I also wanted to give you an opportunity to set the record straight about anything else you've heard, but I thought maybe you should start with mental health as related to abortion and what the mental health toll is on a woman who seeks an abortion, can't get one, and is forced to carry a pregnancy to term.
So we know, based on strong evidence, that being forced to carry a pregnancy has significant mental health impacts on a patient, long-term mental health impacts. I also do want to say that the American College of OBGYNs, along with over 75 other major science-based medical societies, representing the overwhelming consensus of the medical community, have identified abortion care as safe, essential health care. This is not one specialty, this is not one organization, and the American Board of OBGYNs, which is the national body that certifies all OBGYNs at this table, has established that abortion is safe, essential health care and has denounced misinformation about abortion, like much of the things that we've heard today. This
As
is
has
the
the-
overwhelming consensus of the medical community. There is no question.
including the American Academy of Pediatrics. Thank you very much. I yield back.